Ladies and gentlemen, this is exciting. This is exciting, and looks like we're at the top of the hour. So again, we're going to go ahead and get this thing started here. Again, my name is Diamond Ambassador Samuel Bean out of Houston, Texas. Again, one half of the Bean team. My beautiful wife Kim Bean is my partner here in this situation. And right now, you're going to have a conversation with me right now about the world's fastest growing company. And when I say fastest growing, I'm not saying fastest growing because I'm excited about what's happening, but because there's a third party corporation out there that does research to tell you annually who's the fastest growing corporation out there. And the company that just happens to be the fastest growing company out there is only 1 year old. And to my knowledge, that's never happened before. And that excites me. And I'm going to tell you why that happens in just a moment. But right now, I do want to just address something real quick here that it's the fastest growing company in the world because of leadership, one, and two, is because everybody around the world is really opening up their eyes to see how powerful home-based businesses really are. In America, over the last 20 years, they've already accounted for 50% of the companies that have been opening up on an annual basis. But right now, since everybody is relegated to being at home and people are furloughed, people have been laid off, people have been fired, companies have shut down. What happens is now you have people looking for financial opportunities, and right now it's making more and more sense to them because now instead of working at a job in an office, your company is now telling you to go and work a home-based business, but it's not your own. It's their business that you're going to work from your household, from your living room, from your office. And so seeing as how you're going to be at home already working a job for somebody else, you may as well also have a plan B. You may as well also go ahead and create your exit strategy from home, okay? Some of you guys, I can tell you right now, we have people over the last 30, 60, and 90 days who have put themselves in a position to where when it is safe to go back out and have a job again, they won't have to because they've already replaced the income that they've earned. Some people have supplemented the income that they've actually earned. And now when they go back to work, they'll have two incomes. And so all I ask you to do for your sake, not mine, is to have an open mind, okay? Make sure that you allow everything that I'm going to say to land on fertile ground because it will only help you if you process it. It may be for you, it may not be for you, but you won't know unless you consider the information that's given. Our GMA, Edwin Haynes, Global Master Ambassador, very wise guy. And I remember when I first met him and I looked at, again, coming back into this industry of network marketing, an industry that I hadn't been in for a while. And I was just talking about, how I was just done with the industry and didn't want anything else to do with it. And I didn't even want to look at the company, on a large scale. But he quoted something to me, and he said that condemnation before investigation is the height of stupidity. And for me, that resonated with me. That said a lot. And I didn't want to shoot something down before I actually considered it after getting all the facts. And so that's all I actually do, because when you look at where we're at today, June is coming, July is coming, August, September, October are coming. And yeah, you may have some reserves right now, but do you have enough money in your reserves right now to last over the next 6 to 12 months? Okay. And 99% of the people who are out there walking the face of the earth, the answer is no. Okay. And so, coming from a position of experience, coming from a position where back in 2008, when we had our last recession, I was in a very, very bad position. I was going through foreclosure, repossession, bankruptcy, and my wife was 6 months pregnant at that time. And the banks that we were doing business with, two of them closed. And when they closed, they took over $300,000 of our actual money with them. And having a conversation with the now CEO of this company, Mr. Holton Buggs, he just said, hey, look, right now, you're great at real estate. And when the industry comes back, you can do that. But right now, do this, because if you do this right, you'll never have to go back to work again, and you'll be able to invest in real estate instead of having to perform on a platform as a actual real estate agent or a broker. And he said, what do you have to lose? You can make millions of dollars, at its best, okay? Or You can learn some leadership skills, through our leadership program, and then take that back into real estate and be a better businessman. So next time you open up a company, you won't go out of business. And I said, you know what, that all makes sense to me. And so I partner with them, and here it is, many, many years later. We've made millions of dollars under his leadership and under his system, right? And I can tell you, if I would have just said, you know what, this is not the right time for me. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my businesses. I'm losing, I'm losing sleep. I'm about to lose my marriage. All this is going on around me. If I would have said, you know what, this is not the right time for me, my family would not be in the position of comfort that they're in right now today. Okay. And that's the thing I want for you, because when I say tomorrow is coming, tomorrow is coming. And I don't want you guys to have to make a decision, at the moment when you really have to. You want to make decisions before it's mandatory, because you can make them, with time to reflect, without emotion. And that's what, I want to talk to you about today. Process the information, okay? Because the life you save may be your own, okay? And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pull up some slides here. And these slides are going to take you through, our whole entire, process here. And I want to make sure you guys get it and get it all, because it's some good stuff. We've had some people, around the world over the last, I would say, 60 days to 90 days have done some tremendous things and broken some records. And I can just tell you right now, in countries where, their average income is $400 a month, we have people in our company who just got started over the last couple of months who are making thousands of dollars and tens of thousands of dollars in their country on US dollar. And when you look at the company that's bringing them the platform that's allowing them to do this, it's a company called Ibuummerang. Okay. And since we're going to be talking about money, I have to give you this disclaimer. Okay. Everybody who joins this company, they're going to get paid on their own merit, because we can't promise you anything. This is not one of those pie in the sky deals. You get paid in direct proportion to what you're actually earning. Okay. And so if you want to get rich quick, you're going to have to do the work, follow the system, and make it happen. It's possible. Okay. But I can't make any promises, because I don't know what you're going to do when you get started. Okay. But when you talk about the platform that we're using, okay, it really started with network marketing. And network marketing for us is just a piece to what we do. Okay. It's one arm of what we do. It's not everything that we do in totality. But it's going to evolve. When you look at, the things that we're going to address out the gate, that's going to make sure that happens, make sure that the changes for the better happens. We're going to focus on the two most important people in the company. First of all, it's the customers. Without customers, you don't have a business, okay? And so you want to make sure, just like taxpayers pay the taxes and pay the salaries of the people who are in government offices, the customers, the ones who keep on purchasing and buying your services, those are the ones who pay the salaries and the commissions for the people who are building the business, okay? So you got to make sure your customers are, very, very happy. They're very, very satisfied, and they have what I call customer amazement, okay? Then you have the ambassadors. So when you have a situation where you have what we call success without selling, where everything that we have and that we offer is something that you're going to buy because you want to buy it, that sets everything apart. Because in network marketing, traditionally, you have to get really, really good and educated about how to sell a product, where the products came from, whether the origins of the ingredients came from, and what it does, without making claims, right? And so we're done with all of that. Yeah, we've seen the way business is being done today. We've seen the way companies are out there making billions of dollars seemingly overnight today. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to take this thing from the taxi cab era, right, where customers pay more and recruiters win, and the little guy or the people who are inexperienced make nothing, okay, to where it doesn't matter how much experience you actually have, with the gig economy and technology. You can come in here and out earn the people who have the most experience. Right now, we have a business model, set up to where if a person did not recruit anybody, they can still make multiple, 5 and 6 and 7 figure incomes on an annual basis, just based off of them acquiring customers. Okay. And the cool part about us acquiring customers is not just for one thing, it's for a myriad of verticals that we're going to be hosting. But let me introduce you to the brains behind it all. Let me introduce you to the visionary, the person who's the mentor, the leader of leaders. And I'm not just talking about for our company, I'm talking about for the industry, ladies and gentlemen. First, when you look at the fact that we're in 188 countries, in our very first year, it's not because the company is so polarizing that everybody just had to be a part of it. Okay, it's because the leader at the helm of the company is exactly that. Everybody knows about this man. He was the number one money earner in the industry at one point in time, earning over $1 million every 3 weeks. And he lifted the cap of the lid off of the actual industry, if you will, when he got to the $1 million a month part in one business position. Okay. When everybody else was struggling, or everybody else was hoping and praying to make $100,000 a month so they can make $1 million a year, or $200,000 a month so they can make $2 million a year, he was talking about $1 million a month right away, right? And so he stretched people's thinking, but it wasn't always like that. At some point in time, he had to be stretched himself. Okay, back in 1990, when he got into network marketing and direct sales, this gentleman, for 7 years, cut his teeth in a company called Amway, and for 7 years, he made no more than $500 a month after he paid all his people. But in 7 years, what he did was he sharpened his axe. What he did was he really learned from the best of the best, the people who were making millions of dollars and who would go on to become icons and legends in his industry. And he took their philosophies, he took their teachings, and what he did was he created a program. And in that program, he went on to make millions of dollars and then duplicate himself over time. So much so that, again, in 2009, he was a distributor in a company, and his system was so dynamic and his results were so dynamic that they made him the VP of sales. Okay? And over time, in that 10, 11-year period of time, he took that company from a positional perspective, from a person who was working in the business and VP of sales, to becoming a $3 billion corporation, creating resumes that boast people who made on an annual year, $1 million a year, 45 plus people. Okay? And we're not even talking about the people who are the ones who have earn what we would call $1 million over the lifetime of their actual careers, right? And so again, we want to make sure that you guys understand who's at the helm of the company. We'll make sure you guys understand the person who you get a chance to build a biggest business with, which is a person who actually understands, the plight of everybody who would ever join a network marketing company, from the person who made a little bit to nothing to a person who's at the top, at the pinnacle of each company that they served on. Okay. Now, what makes it better is this. What takes comfort, what people take comfort in, is knowing who's the brain trust, who's the support system, how to support jive with the field, right? And he handpicked these people and developed half of them. Okay. And when I say handpicked and developed, when you look at, the VP operations, the VP of marketing, and the global master ambassador, I was with him. Okay. When he took all three of these gentlemen to the top of the company that I met them in. I was with him and watched him and develop these guys into world-class leaders who went out there and made expert. Like, when I say some really serious money, industry money that people marveled at that time, he did that. But these are also people who are specialists, when it comes to what he has them doing. Their occupations in the corporate world are exactly what we needed for this company. So now what you have, you have people who are from the field, right? Who have a specialty in corporate that we need. They know exactly who we need, who we are, what we need, and how to provide it for us. Then you look at the CEO of Extreme Marketing, okay, Mr. David Manning. Now, this gentleman has been in the industry a lot of years as well, but he had a bout with a company, and he went his separate ways and opened up his own travel company. And for 20 years, he headed the industry of travel on network marketing platforms. Okay, and so he has a lot of experience when it comes to travel. And then you have Peter Hurst, Chief Giving Officer, one of our blue diamonds of the company, big time heart. Guy who loves people, loves helping people globally. He's also an attorney. And then you have Lori Spears, Director of Travel, 36 years of experience. And you're talking about a wealth of knowledge. She's just an amazing individual. Okay. Now, going over here, talking about the process, talking about the platform, talking about the system, and how we're going to bring this to the world. It all starts with our PRIB. Okay, that PRIB, the perpetual residual income builder. Remember, when you say residual income, that's the one thing that everybody in this industry of network marketing has been promised, but nobody's ever delivered. Okay, that's something that everybody's been promised, that you can walk away one day, right, and not have to worry about ever doing anything again, because the work that you did one time, you would get paid on it forever. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't know anybody who's done that, but guess what? What you're about to see is why everybody in this company will have the ability to do that. Okay? We're using data analytics, artificial intelligence, and world-class people power to make sure that that happens for you. So when you look at all of these new multi-billion-dollar corporations that popped up like popcorn, they're all using these things. Right? They all have a couple of things in common. First of all, when you look at having access to people's information, that's very powerful. When you have access to people's information, you know exactly what they want, you know exactly what to provide for them. And so now you have what we call success without selling. If you look at Amazon, what Amazon did before they became this world power, this big time business, Jeff Bezos says, what we're going to do is we're going to find out what people want to buy just by selling them books. We'll figure out what they like by what they read. And then what happens is we'll also, since we have their information, we'll track their buying habits. We'll track their booking trends. We'll track everything that they do on the internet. So every time they leave a footprint, we'll know, that they want to travel, or that they want to buy books, or that they want to, own a business, or they're looking for a specific product or service, right? And that's how they went out there to go from selling books to selling everything. Okay? If you look at Amazon, most people go to Amazon for everything. It's almost like the Google of business. Okay, so person, I want to buy this. They don't go and Google, the stores that sell it. They go to Amazon and say, hey, look, Louis Vuitton shoes, or they go to Amazon and say iPad or joystick or whatever it is they're looking for, and it pops up. Somebody is selling it on Amazon, and normally you get a great price on it. Okay, so again, you have options as well. It's very competitive. So that's why it's huge. That platform is not going anywhere except for up. But guess what? You have other platforms like Uber that are out there doing the same exact thing. You have other platforms like Spotify, No Wait, Alibaba, right? Airbnb. All these companies, again, all of them have one more thing in common that we do. None of them own, like say Uber doesn't own the vehicles. They basically empower the driver and the person who owns it. Airbnb doesn't own the houses, right? They just tap into those resources that are owned by other people, right? Amazon doesn't own a product. Alibaba doesn't own a product, but they sell everything else that everybody else is providing. So their risk is minimalized. So basically, they don't really lose any money because they have no spoilage. They have no waste, right? It's amazing, how they've actually showed us how to do business. Okay? But here, when you look at, the PRIB and how it's going to help you as an individual business owner who's getting started with us, it's going to allow you to focus on the things that you're great at. It's going to allow you to focus on the things that you should be really, really good at, like, just the recruiting aspect, or just the acquiring the customer aspect. Because when it comes to following up, when it comes to upselling, when it comes to, keeping people in the loop and keeping them abreast of what's coming out, you're not really good at that. And we know that because of, again, data and analytics. But when you have a system that'll do all that for you, that's where you excel, because now you get to focus on what you're best at. When it comes to your team members, right? It takes care of your team members. It helps them, it educates them, it gives them trainings, it gives them information on events, right? It reminds them of a lot of things, but most importantly, on both, it helps you with your retention. In traditional network marketing, 99% of the time, for most people in this industry, and I'm talking about the majority, every time you put somebody in the system and they join your business, you normally have at least two people walking out the back door, one coming in the front door, two going out the back door, right? And so with this, catering to your customers, and this catering to your team members, now you have somebody, you have a dynamic in place that's going to help you retain them. Okay. So when you look at the PRIB, treat the Priv or consider the Priv like an umbrella, like GE. It's a corporate, umbrella that had many different companies under it, right? And so when you look at, the Priv, it's the same exact thing. And what we did was we used travel as our very, very first vertical, into the Priv, right? You want to use travel because we know that everybody, you know, some way, shape, form, or fashion is either traveling or will have to travel at some point in time. Okay. And so whether it be for business, emergencies, luxury, it doesn't matter. Travel is very, very big. It's the largest industry out there. If you take the three largest industries and combine them together, they still would not produce, okay, what travel produces. And the thing about travel is this: you want something that's resilient, right? As an industry. See what's going on right now, travel doesn't really care right now, because regardless of how much travel may have slowed down a little bit, after every recession, after every pandemic, what happens is travel is always the very first industry to come back, and it bounces back bigger than it was when it left. Okay. And so again, travel is huge, but we use travel to get your attention. And you look at these numbers should get your attention as well. So when you look at this industry, there's no scarcity here. There's, you look at Asia, $6 billion a day, Europe, $4.8 billion a day, United States, $2.8 billion a day, Latin America, $953 million a day, and Africa, $487 million a day. Okay. When you look at, the type of revenue that's produced in these regions, in this industry of travel, and people ask me, why did you walk away from $40,000 a year, $40,000 a month of residual recurring income? I'm like, I want to make $40,000 a day, and this is an industry that allows me to do that. Okay? And so again, you always want to make sure that if you're going to fish where the big fish is at, fish where there's abundance of fish. Okay. And so when I look at, another one of these gig economy, type corporations, a company that sells everything but owns nothing, a company that's made billions of dollars, off of an ingenious concept. I'm looking at Bookings Holdings and Expedia Group, and these two companies basically have created what I would say a duopoly. Some people want to call it a monopoly, but it's two companies, a duopoly. And what they did was they said, look, we know for a fact there's a need in the travel industry because you have hotel rooms that if they don't book that room and it makes it to the next day, they lost money. You have rental cars. If it makes it to the next day without renting that car, they lost money, right? You have cabins on cruises and on airplanes. If they make it to the next day without booking them, guess what? They lost money. And so what we're going to do, we're going to provide a third-party service for all of these vendors out there. We're going to take their inventory, we'll take their inventory at the rock bottom price that they would give it to us at, and we'll mark it up just below market value, and we'll go and do some high price campaigns, and we'll liquidate their volume. We'll keep everything else in the middle. So that worked so well, ladies and gentlemen, that they did over $190 billion in 2018, over $200 billion in 2019 last year. Okay, think about this for a second. I said duopoly. Okay, now think about this. You said, well, there's a lot of companies out there. They got a lot of competition. You have Travelocity, Expedia, Orbitz, and Trivago, and all the rest of those other companies that I'm talking about that you don't see there. Guess what? They own those companies. Okay. When you clicked on click to compare, you weren't comparing against their competition. You were comparing against their in-house companies, the ones that they own. So what they were doing is they was creating price parity. They made you think that you was getting a deal. They made you think that you were saving money when you saved that $1,200. When you saved that $12. And what happened was you saved $12 because that's how much they wanted you to save. Okay. But what happened was, well, when you saved $12, they actually got the other $200 that was between that $12 and the bottom line backdoor pricing. Okay. So I want to share something with you guys. We have the same backdoor pricing that they have. The only difference is we're sharing it with you. Okay. We're sharing it with you, and we're sharing it with our customers because, again, you got to take care of the two most important people in the company, right? So I'm going to give you some examples of what's out there and what's have happened already. New York City, 4.5-star hotel on a third-party website, Expedia.com. Expedia.com has that for $339 a night, right? And we have the same booking on our iGo platform, $178 a night, $161 in savings per night. Now, same nights, same hotel, same everything, okay? Different access. Less than 1% of people in the world have access to backdoor pricing like this, and we do. As a matter of fact, the actual access that we have when you go to Vegas, and I was in Vegas, a couple months ago, I would say a little bit last year, let's just say last year, I ran across companies who had similar, if not exact, backdoor pricing, but they charge anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 again for that actual service. Plus, when you look at Mexico, Mexico has a company that charges $30,000 a year for the same access. Okay, and so again, we want to make sure you guys get this. What we're offering you right now for pennies on a dollar is something that 99% of people walking the face of earth don't have access to. And if you did get access to it outside of our platform, you pay a pretty penny for it. And guess what? It will still be worth it. Okay. Paris, France, 4-star hotel, $440 a night for this hotel on Travelocity. Okay. On our iGo platform, they have it for $130 a night, $310 in savings, 3 times as much as what that person paid for the room. They're saving it per night. Then you have New York City, top rental car company, $382 total for this actual booking. And our iGo platform has the same rental car class, same dates, $221 from the same company, $171 in savings. And so again, got a lot of big savings on the books. When you look at some of the things that people have already booked and looking at the confirmations below, our friend Ruben here did his reservation. He paid $450 for that reservation, and he saved $1,341. Now, he got 510 points, for that actual trip. But guess what? He got those points from us. He didn't get those points from that vendor. See, with us, you can actually double dip on points. You can get your points from Hilton, Marriott, Enterprise, Southwest, Delta, doesn't matter. But you'll also get points from us. The cool part about it is you don't have to use our points with them. You can use our points with anybody and for just about everything that we have to offer you, okay? Ian paid $624 for his trip. He saved $316. And then you have the CEO, Mr. Holtenbugs himself, saved $1,348 for his reservation. He paid $1,348 for his reservation. He saved $1,589. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, again, from a business perspective, if this company was not in my wheelhouse and I just say, you know what, it's not the right time for me, or it's not something that I want to do, but I think it's going to work, I would still refer the service to my friends and family. That just lets you know, again, how good of a business this really is. It's something that I would refer out even if I didn't do it myself. But when it comes to the points, ladies and gentlemen, the points are huge. We've got a way for our customers to now go get customers that they can get points off of. So now, again, our customers can get points from other customers. And guess what? That means that you actually earn other incomes now, because again, your customers can't get paid on them, but you can. Now, let us show you how you actually, really take full advantage of the whole entire operation that we have. When we talk about living a 5-star lifestyle for a 3-star price, and you have that first class memberships, because this first class is the best way to travel. This is what you get with our first class package, okay? You hit hotels, rental cars, cruises, and with our cruises right now, the company says, hey, you buy one of our cruise packages, we're gonna give you a 7-day, 6-night vacation package on top of it, a vacation stay on top of it. The flights right now, again, in any platform, it doesn't matter what platform you go to, nobody pays commissions on flights and nobody gets discounts on flights because the industry doesn't do it. But our flights are extremely comparable. $1 million homes, you can see how competitive they are against Airbnb, and our weeks program, which is phenomenal. You have, resorts that are out there that have inventory that they haven't booked, and they will package it for a week for pennies on a dollar. I've seen Hawaii for $57 a night. I've seen Cancun for $17 a night. Cozumel for $15 a night. So you see these weeks. People book up a week, and they may only have 3 days for a vacation, but they book it on the weeks because it's cheaper than the 3 days that they would actually pay. Okay? Marketplace, timeshare, where you can rent a timeshare or you can list your own. And then you have all these other additional lifestyle activities and rewards, right? But the thing that I like the most about this is that although nobody can guarantee that they have the lowest prices, of any company out there, one that's illegal too, if they did, the FDA or the FTC would shut them down because, again, that's not a way to do business fairly where everybody can benefit. We do have a price match guarantee though. So let's just say there's a property that you just have to be in on a specific week, this specific day, and it just happens to be a little bit cheaper than, you know, um, what you found on our site. We would match that price 100%, and then we would give you 10% of the difference. And we want 100% of your business. Again, we're going for customer amazement. There's always going to be a win-win situation if you use our system properly. Okay. Now, when it comes to that dynamic I was telling you guys about, when you can actually come in this company and you don't have to actually recruit anybody to make a 4, 5, 6, or 7-figure income. You can do it by with customer acquisition, right? See, this is why I don't have to promise you anything. This is how the numbers work. Okay. When you look at these two examples, you have the ambassador platform and the customer platform. What you'll see is that they both have great discounts. Okay. You obviously see our partners have a greater discount because they're members. Okay. And our customers, they have really good discounts. And guess what? They don't have to pay for those discounts. Our customers get those free websites from you and from me. Okay. So they're free to them, not to us. But again, they have access to them for free. Guess where we got that idea from? From companies like Uber. Uber doesn't charge you a sign up. They don't charge you a weekly, a monthly, an annual. You just use their services and the benefits that come with them. Okay. That's how they make their money. So when you look at ours, we give you what we call a boomerang. That's what we named our technology. Okay. Because when we send our boomerang out, we send it out, with savings. And when it comes back with commissions and bonuses rather, because, we get paid on the savings, of our customers. Let me share some with you here. So when you look at this actual example here, the customer saved $212, right? That guy or that gal threw that boomerang out to that customer, and the customer saved $212 in this example, and it came back, 50% of that was in the form of a $106 bonus. Now, two things I want you to know about this. One, when friends travel, when you travel, you want to take friends and family with you. So you don't travel alone. Every boomerang allows you to have up to 4 more people travel with you, and they can get their own room and they can get the same exact discount that you get. So as I say, it was 5 of y'all that went on that one boomerang. So now instead of $212 in savings, it's $1,060 in savings. So now instead of a $106, a bonus, now it's a $530 bonus on one trip and on one boomerang. Okay. The other thing I want you to know is this, because some of you are saying, well, how do you get paid on savings? Well, remember, we have backdoor pricing. And if you look at, the actual ambassador platform, and you see that our backdoor pricing is $621, okay? And you see that the public pricing is $1,046. Well, you see the difference, okay? That's the number that you want to focus on. The company says what we're going to do is we're going to take the difference. We'll take the difference of $424, right? Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to offer half of that, to the, we're going to add half of that to the actual price, to the bottom line pricing. So now you'll go from $621 to $834. So now we just added revenue, okay, to the customer's actual transaction. So now since we've added revenue to the transaction, there's money for us to pay a bonus on. So we take 50% of that bonus and we give it to you. Okay, we'll take 50% of that savings and give it to you. So here's how it looks, from a calculation method, when it comes to you acquiring customers. We teach everybody something simple like getting 10 customers, okay? Now, you can get 10 customers in 10 minutes, in 10 days, in 10 months. We have people who, when I say get customers almost immediately, it's amazing. But let's do the math first so we can talk about some real numbers. We already understand that the average person is going to save about $600 per year, okay? And that's because over the last 19 to 20 years, that's the number they came up with on average. So if the average person is saving $600 per year and you have 10 customers traveling per year, that's $6,000 per year in savings that you're responsible for. 50% of that is $3,000. Okay. You might say that's not a lot of money. Okay. Well, guess what? You didn't do a lot of work. Plus, that's $3,000 a year for the rest of your life. You haven't worked on a job that you've quit that still pays you $3,000 a year. So again, it's about an understanding. It's about you understand that if you get 100 customers, that's $30,000 a year. Okay. And think about this. Some of you may say, well, you know what? 100 customers is a lot of customers. It's really not. Right now in my organization, we have well over 200 people who have 100 customers. And guess what? They built that asset in less than a year. So in less than a year, what they've done was create an asset that once those websites mature and activate and people start traveling, they're getting around about $30,000 a year for the rest of their life. You have people who will retire after working for 60 years and won't make $30,000 a year. Okay. It's not that we're smarter than they are. It's just that we had a better vehicle than they did. They relied on the government in its retirement campaign. We just created our own. Okay. And so again, we have people who have 1,000 customers in this company, a lot. Okay. This is not as hard as you may think it would be. Okay. It's only hard to you thought process wise because you've never been trained to do this before. Okay. But when you look at people like, Latonya Lawrence, who has over 1,000, Rick Carino, who has over 1,000, Lois and Didier Kofi, who have over 1,000, Leanne and Jack Lyons, who have over 1,000, right? You have the Roland Rogans, who have over 1,000 customers. You have Shirley Xavier, who has 2,700 customers, almost 3,000 customers right now. Think about what their incomes are going to be on an annual basis when those websites activate and mature. And guess what? Remember that PRIB I was telling you about? The PRIB is what's going to make sure that people are reminded that they actually have a free website that gives them free benefits, right? And so again, you don't have to go back and remind them. The PRIB will. Shirley doesn't have the luxury to go back and talk to all 2,700 of her customers, right? But the PRIB does. That's what the PRIB is designed to do. All the things that you're not supposed to, all things that you're not able to. So for those of you who want to build it on your own, you can do that. For those of you who want to build it with the team, you can do that as well. Okay? So when you look at that network marketing arm I was telling you about, here's the network marketing arm. So now you take something small, like a number of 50 people, right? You get 5 and help them get 10 people each over the next 30 days or 60 days, whatever it is. You have 50 total. You help them get 10 customers each. You have 500 customers in your group that you get to now override, right? So when you look at the math and the percentages, 10% of the volume that's on the right-hand side is $58 a day, okay? Monthly is $1,700. Annually is 20 grand. Well, I like the peak-to-peak method. And so when I look at a person who will get 50 in their group, at some point in time, they'll get 500. At some point in time, they'll get 5,000 over time. But I happen to know that 100 people on your team with 10 customers each, 250 on your team with 10 customers each will put you at $100,000 a year. Okay. And so again, if you were looking for that number, that 6-figure annual override number, that's your number, 250 people on your team. Okay. And we'll help you get them. Now, when you look at the fastest growing segment of travel right now today is the rideshare industry, right? When you look at what Uber has done, what Lyft has done, and what some other companies have done, again, it's one of those things that people stand in amazement for. For Uber to go to become a $50 billion entity, the fastest growing company in America at that time, or in the world at that time, if I'm not mistaken, by coming up with a concept, where one, you can get a person to jump in the car with a stranger, two, to be able to create the world's largest transportation company without owning one car. That's amazing, right? But when you look at what we've done, again, we've made that our second vertical that we put into our PRIB, second company that we bought, which is a separate entity. And we did that because, again, ladies and gentlemen, it's just undeniable. The rideshare industry is huge. It's a $24.4 billion industry within the $1.2 trillion travel industry, transportation industry. When you look at the people who have embraced, the rideshare, philosophy, 98 million people ride in rideshares as passengers. 5.3 million people are driving, and that number is growing every day. See, when you look at the state, of emergency, a lot of people who lost their jobs may not ever get a job because we know that 30% of those companies won't open back up again. But what I do know about a large majority of those people who lost their jobs, those companies won't open back up again, they all have cars. Okay. I also know this, that typically the average rideshare company is going to pay about 40, 50, maybe 55% per ride. Okay. When you look at that, the rest of that money is going to those rideshare companies and their shareholders. Again, what we are doing right now, because we are debt free, because we don't have shareholders and anybody else to satisfy, we're giving all of that money, to our people. And so we've actually been able to, put this money on the books for you to where when you look at how we pay our people, our people, you get paid three different ways when you actually, join our Vibe Ride movement. Okay, you have options here. So just for driving alone, though, they're going to pay you for that. They're going to also pay you for collecting passengers, okay, and recruiting passengers, not just a one-time referral fee. What's going to happen is you'll have, um, a person who you refer one time, and regards to, who they ride with for the rest of their life, if they're riding with Vibe, you're going to get paid on that ride. Then you have the ability to build a fleet. Okay. When you look at the fleet thing, I mean, you go from driving for Uber to becoming Uber with Vibe Rides, because now you have people like Rick Carina, who's in Australia. He's not even in America. He already has 1,000 drivers through social media. Okay. And so you have people who are now taking this very opportunity to build a fleet and work their way out of their own cars. Okay. So you get paid to drive, you get paid to ride, you get paid to rather to get riders, and you also get paid to build a fleet. So let me show you how that looks when you break down the fare. Okay. You have, a $100 fare breakdown. And when you look at the average fare, is about $15, but I'm just going to give you $100 by example. A person who drove, for this fare would basically earn $75. Now, remember I told you it was 70% out the gate per trip, right? Well, when you go over 50 rides, okay, then it's 75%. So that's where we got the $75 from. We're taking it from the position the person already has 50 rides. Then the person who referred the company to the person to the company to drive got $3, which is 3%. Then people who are in the driver's share pool, right? They actually get 3% as well. They split up 3%, which is $3. Now, when you look at the rider, the person who referred the rider gets 3%, which is $3. And then I also put 3% in the rider's share pool, which is $3 as well. If you do the math, that's $87 out of that $100 is gone, right? Which means that the company is only keeping $13, 13%. See, if you look at other companies out there, the way they're structured, they can't afford to pay you more. It's not that they're bad owners. They're not. They're wise owners, people who are very smart business people, and they're not greedy. It's just that their platform is not designed to pay you more than what they pay you. Okay. And the cool part about it is this: you can still drive with them, and drive with us. We don't care. We just take your drives. You know what I'm saying? You can still drive for those other companies, but we just want you to understand that, it's very, very beneficial for you to become a part of our Overdrive program. And our Overdrive program is about $250 total, just to be a member of the Overdrive program, to be able to take advantage of all three of those at one time. Now, just to drive is free. You just pay for your background check and your car inspection. But to take advantage of all three and to become a business owner, on the rideshare platform and own your own fleet, $250, which is nothing. But I'm going to show you how you can get that waived. I'm going to show you how you can get, that for nothing. Okay, stay with me. Question: do you boomerang? And when we ask that question, do you boomerang? Obviously, boomerangs are thrown out and they come back. But when we throw our boomerangs out, they come back. They throw them out with goodwill and they come back with commissions. Well, part of the goodwill that we throw out when we throw out our boomerangs is this: every time a person activates a boomerang, not even travels, every time they activate a boomerang, what's going to happen is this: we're going to feed a proper portion of nutrition to a child. And we actually had a goal at the end of 2019 to have fed a proper portion of nourishment to children, at least 5 million portions, and we came up short. We actually served 4.4 million portions, and servings to those children. And so that makes us, happy. And we're going to continue to do that again for the rest of our lives. Now, when a person takes a ride in our Vibe Ride program, guess what? They're going to feed a child as well. And so again, everything we do is not just catered around making money. That's a big part of it, but we also have a philanthropic side of us for our Boom Foundation that people are really learning to appreciate, and people are excited about donating to. So that's huge. But for all of our techie people who like being able to get with things, get to your destination efficiently and effectively. For those of you who are looking at our smart codes there, just get a code, scan that thing, and it takes you directly to where you need to be, whether it be for travel, Vibe Ride, or as a driver. Okay. Now, one thing I do want to say before I move off this page is this: when you look at the other differences, when it comes to the Vibe Ride program, which is why people are extremely excited about it, the safety mechanism that we have in place is awesome. When you look at, one of the biggest challenges people are having right now is safety. And, after the background check, obviously that's great. Everybody goes through one, but people go through things, and things happen to people mentally and emotionally. So what we did is we instituted what we call the Girl Power program. Now that Girl Power program empowers a female driver to actually select female passengers only when she's driving. It also empowers the female driver to select female passenger to select female driver only. Okay. There's also a tracking device. So when you actually, let's just say you put your child in the car, you put your spouse is in the car, and she's going from point A to point B, you'll know exactly where she's at through that whole entire trip. Okay. And when that trip is over, again, you'll know it. When that car stops, you'll know it. So the safety side of it, ladies and gentlemen, is very, very important. It's very, very big. And people, especially women are loving this. They're lauding this. They really love it. And they're referring this company to everybody just because of it alone. Okay? Not just the money, but just because of security and safety. And then you have the Fast Start Accelerator bonus. See, I tell people, if you don't know anything about the actual owner of the company, you can tell a lot about the owner of the company based on what they give, when it comes to benefits when it comes to customers, and what they also give generosity wise to the field. And the thing I love about, Holden and Erling Bugs, the CEOs of this company, is this: they came into this company, without money problems. They haven't taken a check, right? From the company. It's only a year old, and they've just been building the company. They've been paying everybody else, but they haven't taken a check. But they've been seeing people make really good money. Well, with their foresight and their vision, they saw what was happening in around the world globally, and they said, you know what, we need to go out there and really create, a stimulus type of impact in our compensation plan, and make it permanent. And what we'll do is this: instead of one person, instead of you getting paid on one person fast start bonus wise, what we're going to do is, we're going to allow you to get paid on a fast start bonus 7 levels down. So those are levels that you would normally not get paid a fast start bonus on. Only one, but now it's 7. The goal is to make sure that more people are able to get a check, right? And so March the 2nd, he instituted this. And from March the 2nd to March the 31st, this company paid out an extra 503% more checks than it did in the entire month of February. And guess what? That number increased in April. Matter of fact, in April, because of this accelerated fast start bonus, we had some people break some extremely high ranks in the company globally. We had 5 people break diamonds. We had 2 elite diamonds, blue and black diamonds. And guess what? They were all in multiple countries, maybe a minus 2 or 3. So we had at least 4 different countries involved in those people, excelling, which means that in those countries, just in those countries alone, with those diamonds, you had thousands of people who got impacted financially. See, this is how you go out there and attack a virus. This is how you go out there and attack a financial virus. This is how you go out there and attack a recession. Okay. And again, it's not about the government doing its job. It's about you doing yours. Okay? And part of your job is being able to evaluate a company that has everything you need. It may not be what you want, but how many of you know that the gifts that you really are looking for don't come packaged the way that you really thought that they should? Okay. What's more important, ladies and gentlemen, the end result, or the vehicle that you're using to get there? For me, the end result is my family being financially free. Is I don't care whether it's in retail, I don't care whether it's in sales, I don't care whether it's in any. What I care is that it's morally legal, ethical, and I'm not hurting anybody in the process, and other people are winning. That's all that matters to me. Okay? So we look at the dual team bonus here as we wrap this thing up here. The dual team bonus allows you again to get help. You have two sales teams, one on the left, one on the right. Guess what? You're going to be a part of somebody's sales team, which means that you're going to have opportunity to have people who you don't know end up in your organization that you'll still get paid for. Okay? And the company will pay you on what you and the entire team produces on a weekly basis, up to $250 per week. It's $1 million a month if you max out, right? And guess what? At some point in time, that'll be the smallest way you get paid because it's capped. The residual income, again, is not capped at all, right? So getting started is a simple thing. It's the simplest thing of all. It's $49.95, puts a person in business for themselves, but not by themselves. And plus, you see they get a plethora of aids and things to help them out. But the thing that I want to focus on right now is the I Decide interactive presentation video. That interactive presentation video is godsend. When I say it just takes the world's #1 fear away from them, the fear of public speaking. For a person who says, I can't do a presentation like a Johnny Wimbrey, or I can't do a presentation like an Emmanuel Bernstein, I can't do a presentation like Cesar Munoz, or Jackie Pippins. What it gives them an opportunity to get the presentation done to perfection in less than 15 minutes, 100% of the time. Okay, that one video, that standby video, the I Decide video. Our group took that video in our first 30 days, and we just said we weren't going to do any regular presentation because we wanted people to be able to duplicate what we did. And we just let people push power, push play the video, and get signed up. We put 1,800 people in business in our first 30 days. And guess what? Because of that video, that I Decide video, we have a group that spans over 7,000 to 8,000 people right now. And we give the credit to the video. Okay, so that video is going to help you, and we have it in 7 or 8 different languages right now. Now the packages, the improvements, if you will, on top of the standby, which gets you in business. Okay, these coach, business, and first class packages give you more benefits as customers because you're still a customer, you're a wholesale customer at this point in time, because now your packages allow for you to get access to more and more of our services and benefits. So the coach class, just like at any airplane, the coach class is on the plane. You don't get from point A to point B, but the seat may not be as comfortable. It's going to be at the back of the plane, and the seats are kind of tight, and leg room is kind of narrow, right? Well, what's uncomfortable about the coach class is this: you only get a chance to book hotels and flights and rental cars on your own personal site, right? But again, at some point in time, you can upgrade, just for the record. But you only get a chance to get 10 boomerangs. So which means that out the gate, you only have an opportunity to have 10 customers. Still have an opportunity to get 10 customers, but still only 10 customers. Okay. And then 10% in that dual team that we talked about a moment ago. Now, this is only $250. I say only because, again, you're now in business on a higher level, having access to travel benefits for just $250 one time. Okay. Now, the business class obviously is a little bit more comfortable than coach class, bigger seats, more leg room, and it's closer to the front of the plane. But you also get cruises added on top of hotels and flights and rental cars. Now you can actually build a customer base of 25 people instead of just 10. And unlike the 25% on the savings that you got with the coach class, this is where you start to get the 50% on the savings that your customers incur when they travel. Okay. 12% in the dual team, but this one is only $500. But wait, there's more, as they say. The first class pack, ladies and gentlemen, again, first class, get on the plane and you stop. Big seats, luxury right there at the front of the plane. Same plane, the only thing dividing you is the curtain, right? And so when you look at all the luxuries that come with first class, It's everything that was on that page when I talked about 5-star lifestyle for 3-star prices, right? But here you also get an opportunity to get 50 boomerangs, which now you have the ability to get 50 customers on right away. And then they have this here, our traditional cost for this is $1,000. Well, ladies and gentlemen, guess what? Right now, Mr. Bugs and Mrs. Bugs and their generosity is allowing a person to come into the company for $799, basically just short of 800 bucks. You're saving $200. And some of you say, well, $200 is not a lot of money. Well, depending on what country you're in, ladies and gentlemen, it's a ton of money. Remember, the average income in some countries out there, $400 a month. So for a person to be able to save $200 on a $1,000 pack that they were going to get anyway because they're willing to fight for their dreams and goals, that's huge. Also, Mr. Bugs put over they put $2 million worth of bonuses, okay, into the comp plan for this month. And that came out of their pockets, not the company. So get back with the person that invited you. Say, hey, look, tell me about those stimulus package bonuses, right? Tell me about, how we can get and maximize those bonuses and get that extra, $250 to that extra, $10,000 to $20,000 that Mr. Bugs put up in that stimulus package, okay? So again, get back with the person, ladies and gentlemen, that invited you here today, and let them know, one, thank you for telling you about, what we have going on, because they're giving you the first right of refusal. Two, let them know what position of equity you want to take, whether it be coach, business, or first class. And three, I promise you, when I said earlier, you're going to have an opportunity to get that other, overdrive package for free for our Vibe Rise program. When you get any one of these three programs here, packages here, that overdrive process comes with it, okay? So it's grandfathered in. So now you have two businesses for the price of one. Okay? So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I love you guys. We have Blue Diamond, Martha, and Marius coming at 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. You do not want to miss her. She went from $80,000 in sales in the month of March to over $1 million in sales in the month of April. And I wish I could tell you what type of income she made, but that would be called an income claim. So we'll see you guys back here at 8:00 p.m. Central Standard Time with guests. So if you're brand new, you have an opportunity to now start your business in the same day you guys started. See you guys at the top.